Exit interviews seem to rile people up. I produced a video just over a year ago, and that video, it was titled, Why You Should Never Do an Exit Interview When You're Over 50. Well, that video received over 267,000 views from people, and it literally got thousands of comments from folks who watched it, people over 50 who watched that video and were just like, I'm going to tell you this, Lou, I will never do an exit interview. Well, in this video, what I'm going to do is follow up on that first one. And what I'll do is I'll tell you what I believe, what I've learned, and really what our viewers have learned to be the best way to answer that HR exit interview invite. I'll tell you what that is right after this break. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, before the break, I said in this video what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the best way to deal with, to handle that HR exit interview invite. And what I'm going to do is I'll share with you some comments that some of our viewers submitted. I mentioned literally we've gotten, I say hundreds, we've got thousands of comments from viewers. And the video that generated the huge response, I said 267,000 people watched that video. It was amazing. And people definitely have their own opinion of exit interviews. So we're going to talk about that. But before I do, what I want to do is just let you know that in the description box of this video, I do have a free 5-sentence cover letter that hiring managers can't resist. And I created a cover letter, what I think is a pretty effective cover letter that can help you to get past those applicant tracking systems, the robots that examine your resumes and determine whether or not they're going to pass it to that hiring manager. So you can get a free 5-sentence cover letter that is in the description box, but I also have something that I think is an incredibly valuable tool if you are really trying to contemplate, you're thinking about what your future is going to be. Well, you know what? In the description box, I also have a link to a career fitter career aptitude test. The test is actually in 2 parts. There's a version, you take it, it's a free one, you take that test, and it gives you lots of information about you and about what your career or what a career path that you could take. But then there's the other version. It's a paid version that comes along with this one if you decide to do that. And I like that version. If anything, it does present to you some job opportunities, some things positions rather, that you can apply for. It gives you lots of information either way. So let's get to our video. And again, I'm going to really try to help you to forge the best response to that HR request. And I mentioned that there were lots of comments and some of the tamer comments that I can share with you. And I'm just going to read this one here. It's a short and sweet one. It says, it's from a person, SC. And SC says this: you're sitting down in front of that HR manager, you're doing that exit interview. And SC says this: they recommend, just lie. Be vague and say as little as possible. And basically they're saying simple. Keep it simple. No sense of going into any information. You know what? That's actually, if you got to sit down, if you find yourself forced to sit down in front of that HR manager or one of the people, the 20 or 30-year-old person who's going to be sitting in front of you, kind of grilling you or almost you feel like you're being grilled. If you're going to be sitting down in front of that person, you know what? Do what you got to do. But I totally agree. Just keep it simple. Keep it basic. And don't say anything that's going to incriminate you. Now, here's another comment that somebody else said. This is from Earth Steward 9. And Earth Steward, by the way, is a person who follows us quite a bit in our videos. And I'm always very, very happy to see a response or a comment from Earth Steward 9. Earth Steward 9 says this: if forced, could we just give name, rank, and serial number? And, when I got that, I kind of smiled. I really smiled and chuckled. I'm like, yeah, it's almost like you feel like you are in the Army. But those are just two comments. And again, they're the tamer of the many comments that we received here. But let me just tell you, let me read to you a couple things that I got. And I want to share this with you because I think this could help you if you find yourself being asked to sit down with that HR person. And this is from somebody named MB. MB says, I watched the former video here on this channel about this topic. So they watched our video, and MB says, which helped me a lot when I later ran into the situation after I handed in my resignation. MB says, I politely declined via email to participate in the HR schedule exit interview. It was instantly accepted without a response, which that doesn't surprise me because they're going through the motions when they send you this interview request, exit interview request. They're going through the motions, I think, for the most part. It's my opinion. And so HR, as I said, MB says it was instantly accepted without response. There was a lot I could have said, but no change would have been made by corporate, and certainly it wouldn't have helped me at this point. Better to move on. See this as closed chapter. And yes, MB, I totally believe that you look at it as a closed chapter in your career. It's just another chapter, another book, and just move on from it. Don't give it a second thought. And obviously, they weren't giving it a second thought either, and you handled it perfectly. That is exactly what I would have done and just politely declined. But here's something else from I hope I'm pronouncing this person's name. It's Aitor Bleda. So I hope I'm pronouncing this person's name correctly. Aitor says, if you want to go back, don't vent. Plus, it is very unprofessional. It can only damage you. And that's a good point. It damages you. They don't really care. They don't care about you from what I've seen. Now, Aitor also says, chances are you are going to compete with your old company. It's just something I had never thought about. I'm glad that Aitor brought this up. So it is not in your interest to improve their organization. And that's just kind of an interesting about improving the organization. They're not going to make any changes, Aitor, so you're not really going to improve their organization. But you're going to be possibly competing with your old company if you stay in that same field. And which to me just means, hey, you might run into these people. You just never know. So for me, yeah, I agree. It's unprofessional to vent. Aitor says it can only damage you. And I do think it damages us. It damages us in so far as it just makes us look like we are someone who's holding a grudge, that we're angry. And, why put that in? Why put that out there? It just doesn't make any sense. So to sum this up, when you are asked to do an exit interview, it's best to politely decline. And if you do, it's best just, again, to be polite, say nothing. And as we were just told by one of our viewers, give name, rank, and serial number. It's the best way to handle it. Just say nothing, do nothing, and move on and enjoy your bright future, your new career. Well, my friends, that's all I've got for you today. I wanted to follow up on that previous video. And that previous video, it generated a huge amount of response. And I do see and I do understand where many folks out there are just not wanting to deal with HR. So, again, that's all I got for you. If you would, please consider subscribing to Over 50 TV. If you do decide to subscribe, there is a little bell. Hit on that little bell. If you click on that bell, hit that little bell every single time we upload a brand new video, you will be notified in your inbox. And if you would, give us a thumbs up if you like or enjoyed this video. Well, as I said, that's all I got for you, except for one last thing. Have a great day, everybody.